This is your host with the most of the time here in Sunnyside, Dubai, and I have a special guest, Stefan. He is in the beautiful Portugal, living that Web3 dream. Hopefully, inshallah, from Dubai, I might check out the beautiful sands. But you know what? I'm here to have a like on the spot, ready conversations about raising the human capital in the Web3 space. So Stefan has an incredible history in the space, and I'm here to learn from the one and only maestro. So Stefan, welcome
Thank
to the
you.
show,
Thank you for
man.
having me. And yeah, welcome to beautiful Portugal, to my beautiful kitchen. Actually, we had a bit troubles in the beginning of recording this, so we have to start over because the connection was not that well, not that good. And at the same time, we just said let's keep it real. So this is welcome to my kitchen.
Hey, we proceed forward,
Thank you,
man.
Marcus. So yeah, as you said, I'm between Lisbon and Dubai at the moment, which seemed to be like a perfect combination to run away from the hectic Dubai. As much as I love that, and as much as I love the energy there and everything, and obviously our industry is booming there, and it's gonna be buzzing, especially in the next month with all those events. And I also like to come here every now and then to chill a bit, to enjoy some fresh air, and to build our own product. But yeah, thank you for having me. This is a really exciting time of the market.
Yeah, no, no. I'm glad we got to have this conversation because I remember maybe more than a month ago we talked about you predicted obviously in terms of the Web3 market we're seeing a lot of green shoots, but in terms of what's the human resource scene or I guess the recruitment or the talent scene, there is going to be I guess some sort of rush, the lack of a better word. But I just want you to just unpack your thoughts and where the space is going to go because now things are heating up. There are a lot of your people who are in the space, but also a lot of new people. They want to join the Web3 revolution. How can they bring in their essence and like partake in this
Yeah,
new way?
it's
Take
a
it
it's a
away,
lot
Stefan.
of interesting things happening, and basically every single time this happens, so let's say we are entering the more positive part of the cycle, what always happens is that you will see influx of talents, of course. But what's ever first, actually, before that happens, will be that finally a lot of people that have been struggling to find a job, that's already been in the industry for a while, will finally be able to
Hmm.
secure new opportunities. Like a lot of people were already able to do that over the bear market as well, but there is a certain amount of people that unfortunately was just left out. They had to pivot a little in their career. They had to go back to Web 2 or any kind of other technologies they might be into. And now they will be coming back into this crazy yet fun industry. And so this is what's going to happen. Now we're going to have people that are still actually has been already proficient within Web3 and this realm, this having their expertise in this. They will hop back in, and then we will see fresh people like the Web 2 people joining this Web 3 revolution. And every single time, if you look at the flow charts of the amount of people working in this industry, it goes together with the price, basically, with the market cycles. And honestly, there is always a spike of people coming in when everything is hot, where everything is positive, right? Everything is just rainbows and unicorns. And eventually, there's also people leaving when it goes to the worst part of the market, when it goes to bear market. Obviously, because there's enough jobs for all of those people. And what happens then is the people are leaving this industry, but it's mostly the people that has been in it only for 1 to 2 years. Anyone who is in the industry for more than 2 years, they are actually staying even through bear market, most likely. Now I'm speaking about like the majorities. Of course, there's going to be a certain kind of people that have it different. So now it's going to be like this for quite a while. A lot of companies are getting funding again, getting investments. They are trying to get their teams bigger. And hopefully this time they will be a bit smarter than the last time, because it's also about a human capital planning that a lot of companies are struggling with. If everything goes well, obviously everyone wants to hire as many people as possible because they feel like they can maximize their profit per employee, let's say, or the generate revenue per employee, because these people can bring
Fair
some
point.
value. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they overhire, and then they have to be letting people go again. And hopefully, if there's all of these companies that has had to do this and they survived through the last bear market, will be smarter this time and keep it lean and don't overhire just because they are FOMOing, which obviously everyone is, more or less.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been through enough of bulls and bears to see folks just FOMO in terms of financials, but also companies hiring too. I gotta ask, now we are in 2024, it's what, March 13th? We're starting to see some green shoots. There have been some interesting spikes in Bitcoin. We're also seeing like the old financial system. A lot of these guys are really interested with the ETFs and stuff. So there's a lot of optimism in the air. And And of course, the companies in the space, they're super optimistic. A lot of Bitcoin caps and bull market signs. But I guess I want to talk about like the human capital side. I guess for me is how does someone makes themselves stand out in such a noisy market, right? A noisy marketplace of human capital. Maybe you have some thoughts or maybe some controversial stuff to stand out just because, right? It's super noisy and stuff. Everyone's making a lot of noise. How does one become a signal
It's
in a
tough,
noisy
right?
market?
It has been rough in the bear market because there was not that many companies hiring, and it will be rough in the bull market because there's actually everyone hiring, but at the same time there is hundreds of applications. And we just spoke about the people that has already been in the industry, and they will probably have the kind of preferential jobs. Like they will basically be the one getting the back in the first, because obviously every single one of our clients at this moment is saying we obviously want someone who already has been working in this is, and we specialize in finding these kind of people. And so
Yeah.
how to stand out is a $1 million question, obviously. Now there's a few things that are important to say. If you apply for jobs, if there's a job that is officially listed at least on the official website of the company, or especially on LinkedIn, of course, a huge medium, or anywhere else, if every single job gets hundreds of applications. Sometimes LinkedIn is nice to you because not nice to you, but like sometimes LinkedIn shows you the numbers in a way of, hey, there's already be one of this many applicants. It also shows you maybe you can stand out, which is quite cool, but they also do it for different reasons, to be honest, because they want you to apply. And this is all about attention and how much time you spend on the social media. The same with Instagram and Facebook. They just want your attention,
Yeah.
right? But this is a different topic. Let's put it aside. Now,
Yeah.
there's for every single job, especially when the job is, media and junior, as long as it's anything in marketing and BD and partnerships, there will be hundreds of applications because there's a lot of people that will feel like they are a good fit for that job because they just have good organizational skills or communication skills. However, this will create all this noise, and then that just causes that the recruiters or the internal HR representatives of the companies have to go through hundreds of CVs. Now, there's certain tools that can help them with this. Obviously, it was a big topic. Everyone feels like everyone is using some kind of AI that will do the scoring for them. Not everyone does, but obviously you have only very short time to check every single CV or resume, right? And you're just screening it within really in a few seconds, trying to figure out if it does or doesn't have the right keyword. One of the big positions, because everyone is trying to apply for, but everyone is hiring for as well, is those kind of BDs. And for whatever reason in Web3, we call them BDs, as much as in 80% of those times, it's actually sales representatives that are either B2 or most likely B2B sales, right? Or most likely in the B2B.
Yeah.
And you really want to have you want to be, as a recruiter, you want to be able to look at the CV and say, okay, this is the right fit, like a potentially right fit. So you want to make sure that those keywords that are important for the job stand out. And if you are a BD looking for a job, since we took that as an example, you want to make sure you provide some data, something that really is the teaser of what I can do if I join your company. And so in that case, you want to be able to mention every single part of your experience. How did you grow your network there, and what is the kind of KPIs you achieved, or let's say any other kind of percentages of growth, of amount of clients approached or actually deals won and everything. That's the kind of things that everyone will be looking for, because if you have these things there, that means what you're speaking about, because that means you are already a BD person that can say, okay, this is my track record. And the track record is very important. And so you have to be able to communicate what you have achieved very well, and you make sure it stands out. And it's not 5 pages, it's like 1 to 2 pages. If you guys want to have tips on how to write your CV, you can literally download a Harvard PDF. If you just go put it in the Google of whatever CV writing book or like guidelines, you can use that. But otherwise, it should be maximum 2 pages. And you want to make sure that, once again, it is looking at the job you're applying for, and you want to be able to sell yourself as the best candidate. Because to get through this wall of who gets to the first interview, that's really hard. And it's also the numbers game. You might be having a really good CV, but somehow you just get overlooked. You might be applying still on the job that's just someone's forgot to stop advertising for. It's literally like these people on the side of the company get very busy, and it's not even their fault. They get insane amount of people they have to go through, but a lot of jobs at the same time they are looking for. And this is all really just all the factors you have to account for. And you have to say, all right, it's a numbers game. I'm going to be applying for as many jobs as I can that I feel like I could provide a good value, and I feel that company is something I would be passionate about. But you also can't be too romantic, because just because you love that one company, company, it doesn't mean your CV will be picked for the interview. And when it comes to interviews, it's another whole different topic. But basically, first of all, if you're applying for these jobs that are already listed out, just don't take it really not too seriously, but don't really rely on that much. Just do it, play it as the numbers game, apply for those jobs. And this is how I see it. Maybe other recruiters would see it differently. What I would say on the other side is if you want to really stand out, then you just start approaching companies without knowing if they are actually hiring. And basically that kind of changes the numbers game to like really like high quality, like almost a lead generation for you, qualifying who is really the company you would be super passionate about working with. And then you do the proper kind of, and if you're a BD, you probably know how to do this. But otherwise, like you want to be able to find the right decision makers. You want to prepare your short motivational letter, or let's say like just a paragraph of why do I want to work for you? And why do I feel like you could benefit from having me in the company? And doing that is like super interesting because that shows extra initiative. And it shows that I really want to work for you guys. I'm already committed to this. And you will still have to do this a few times before you win. But if you play your numbers game with all the open jobs, sure, go ahead. And at the same time, if you research your 10 companies that you would love to work for, and you research a bit about them, you decide on why do you want to work for them and why you feel like they could benefit from having you. Then you can send over your CV to the decision makers. It's easy to find on LinkedIn. You can literally like Google the company, not sorry, Google, but search the company and see who's working there. You can go to the website to search there and so on. And then you really actively approach them saying, hey guys, I know that you're not officially hiring for anyone like me probably, but I am here. I would be super grateful for getting the opportunity to work with you. This is the reasons why I like what you're doing. And this is the reasons why I think you should hire me. And that's when you really play like the kind of quality over quantity. And that's always the way how to stand out if you really want to get some interesting jobs. And the same goes for interview process. Always go one step further than anyone else. If they ask you, if you get to the first interview, ask questions about what the company wants to achieve in the next 1, 5, 10 years. And in any way, from whatever expertise you have, together a little document on, okay, if I work for you guys, this is how I would approach this. And do the extra things to stand out because everyone will be following the same hiring process. And you have to make sure you stand out. Because if it's not like this, if you don't do this, it's going to be all about your experience. And a lot of times you will not be the most experienced guy in the room and you will not be the most skilled. But if you show the most activity, if you show the most dedication to getting that job, that's someone who companies want to work with. But yeah, I'm talking too long on this, but it's 1,000.
No, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. No, because I love the fact that you're talking about just the application side, but of course it's a whole game theory when it comes to interviewing too. No, those points are actually pretty cool. I think there's a lot of value that you actually dropped. But is there like another point you wanted to share with regards to after the interview process? Or
this is as we start speaking about how to stand out, right? So this is very quickly how to stand out. You will not stand out in the numbers game if the job is already listed somewhere. You can still approach the decision makers, by the way. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying there's probably hundreds of applications. So it's going to be harder to stand out. If it's a job that is not listed, and if you go by the companies that you want to, if you would genuinely want to work with, then that's the other way. And you do a few bullet points, why to hire me. Like, I don't know if our audience is big fans of Elon Musk or not, but what he says when he's hiring, I want 3 bullet points of outstanding abilities of the person I is applying for the job. Take 3 bullet points of your like outstanding capabilities or abilities and expertise, and that's what they want to know. And a lot of times people focus on those kind of bland words that are just repeat every time.
Professional summaries.
That everyone is like eager and organized, and everyone has good communication skills and all of that. Cool. Like I do appreciate that you have that, but everyone's saying that. So give me something about you that is actually real. And if it is, and I believe actually that will be your case, Marcos, right? If you are an athlete, if you have a good amount of your past in sport, and that's an interesting fact, just put it out there, ex-professional athlete or something. I'm not sure if you were a professional, but I know that you were running.
Just intercollegiate level. So I guess technically it's not some, well, I'm not paid for it, but hey, my education was I'm getting something. So close enough.
It's super important. Like it's super interesting. Stand out in the way of being a person, being someone that someone wants to work with. because in the end they are looking at you at, okay, this guy is someone who we want to spend the next 5-10 years working with, and is it someone that we can imagine as eventually our leader or whatever, right? Like, you should be always looking at all these jobs as not as a lot of Web3 applicants. And it's another issue I would point out. Yes, a lot of companies are actually just starting and then going bankrupt, and this is a crazy good, and it's
Yeah.
also bad thing about our industry. It's easier to get access to some capital because you don't only have to get investors on behalf of your equity, but if you issue a token, you get like extra money basically. And it's easier to start a company maybe or like start a project in crypto because like there's already a community, and if you find the right fit, it's cool. So it's a lot of companies popping up. The same amount is also closing down. And once again, some of those companies are only living as long as the
Right.
bull, and then as soon as the market starts dropping and their clients start dropping, they are slowly firing more and more people up until they just close down. So of course, but still, you want to look at it as, this is my life-changing opportunity. This is where I want to stay. Show that to the employer that you are there to stay and you are there to support them forever, and eventually climb up their career ladder and become the leader, because that's who you want. And this idea of the lean startups will be very interesting to every single employer. Of course, if it's corporates, it's a bit different, but still, they also want to work with people that are there for the long run, not just because it's trendy industry. And as soon as there's a next boom in anything else, we see the AI going up, but actually the jobs were not really going up that much in that space. Whatever else, it's gonna be that you're gonna help into that. It's a lot of things,
Right.
man. It's just like endless tips and tricks. And when it comes to interviewing, just go be one step ahead of the rest. Ask questions actively from your side. Once again, showing that you really want to make a good decision on if you want to work with them. The interview is both sided, right? It's not only for them to ask you about your experience. It's also for you to ask about what's their plans, right? And yeah, it has to be two ways. Yeah, obviously you start speaking most likely, but if in the end there should be time for you to ask a lot of questions, because it's all still your career and your life for the next 5 years, let's say. And so ask questions, and then as soon as you get and use the questions to get some intel on what they're trying to achieve, what is their core values and everything. Because once you have that, then you can really put together like a single little document saying, hey guys, a little presentation, I don't know, be creative and say, guys, I understand what you're trying to achieve. If you pick me, if you choose me to be your next employee, this is how I would contribute to achieving those goals you have planned out. And this is the most important part. But like this much I would say for the tricks and tips for the applicants.
That's cool. No, I'm cool. Well, thanks for sharing. No, these are really good stuff. I think these tips and tricks is needed because a lot of people are trying to find some ways, find new roles, new opportunities and stuff. But I wanted to take a much more bigger picture, especially someone from you. What do you think in relation to human capital, talent solutions or talent acquisition, whether it be from the employees or the startup founders or even also your corporates? Are there any particular narratives that you do see or you foresee? I hope that question makes sense. I know it's a little bit ambiguous, but I'm sure like there's something that you're noticing in the marketplace. It could be whether to employees
bad things
or
that I can
even
see
the other side.
And it's all once again.
Let's go. I love it. I love it
For the
already.
worst. Okay, so let's pretend we are somewhere in November last year, and there are a few jobs popping up,
All
but
right.
there are employers, and some of them are really the biggest companies in the space that are just trying to leverage the situation. There's a lot of people that are just hungry for jobs. What we were literally asked by one company that I will never be able to share which, but one of those companies, for instance, in the last year was actually a bigger centralized exchange, and they wanted to hire business developers. Once again, this example comes back to us throughout the whole interview today, but we can go to something else. But this example is about that. There was an example of this kind of company coming to us saying, we are continuously looking for new BDs, new business managers or business development specialists. And I'm not sure if everyone knows, but most of the kind of activities that is being done by bigger centralized exchanges in the field of business development is the KOL acquisition, right? Key opinion leaders, trader group, trader channel, this kind of, because then who brings them the most users? And they are living out from the fees and maybe the listing fees in the bull run, but still not. It's mostly like the fees on every single trade they are getting.
Yeah, fees and trying to
Exactly,
get
volume and
volumes,
fees.
right?
So basically, once again,
So
from the volume,
makes
that just
sense.
means more fees. That's what they're trying to do. And that's why most of the activity of the business developers right now is just on, okay, let's sign more and more KOLs. And some of those KOLs actually get, from my knowledge, from my experience, up to 70% of those fees that are generated from the traders, which is crazy. Like now the exchange is literally getting 30% only, and 70% goes to this to that kind of KOL. And of course, it's like the best contracts I've seen so far. Maybe someone watching this can tell us what is their experience with the biggest commission going to the KOLs, but I'm aware of one that will be getting 7. And yeah, a lot of these activities are focused heavily on let's get more and more traders and KOLs because they bring us more users, and they are incentivizing the users also to also
So true.
use. And that's one of those things I struggle with a little when it comes to the ethics of the whole kind of KOL industry, where it's just, oh, let's guys, it's going to whatever 1 million, everyone should just gamble their money and use whatever 50x leverage. I'm not really a big fan of that, but it's a matter of my personal opinion. But anyway, this is like creating kind of toxic industry because everyone's just trying to get all these KOLs, all these channels to shield their own exchange, right? So it would be, hey, get to this exchange, you will get these bonuses thanks to me. At the same time, this guy will get 70% of those commissions, of those fees as a commission. So that's how a lot of people became rich as well, using their YouTube channels and everything. But anyway, getting back to the toxicity of some of those companies and to this one example, it is that this centralized exchange asked us to help them looking for business development managers or business development specialists on a monthly basis, continuously hiring every single month. And it was quite a mid bear market, which was quite interesting for us. And eventually we got to down deeper the rabbit hole, and we found out that they are basically hiring about 5 BDs every single month. And they are also firing about 3 to 4 out of those 5 every single month. So what they tried to do was basically using this market and this fact of a lot of people being almost desperate for jobs in Web3 to just offer these positions, hire like crazy, and at the same time having 80% of those people just being laid off like within 1 or 2 months, within their probation. So really just let them fight for the results and heavily taking leverage of the situation. A lot of people found themselves in. And there's also the reality of this market. This is the reality of this industry. I'm not saying that there's Web3 is bad and all the other industries are like the same. Certainly not the point. Let's be real. This is also what has been happening. We have not worked with this company. Once again, we'll never share who this was, and like all this info is just something that I've seen firsthand. It is also reality of the market. Second part is it is also still real that a lot of companies being built by not experienced like first-time founders would try to hire the people just because they expect to get some investments or to expect to get some revenue at certain point. So what also has been the issue was just like salaries not being delivered at all, or like very late, or eventually being like trying to renegotiate it to much lower, and all of these things like that would all just come to one point to all of the Web3 job seekers again. And that is, you really have to make your due diligence on the company you are about to work with. So when you already go through this very rough process of getting the new job, that eventually, thanks to the market, is going to be easier, but like still could be quite rough right now. It's not only about, okay, let's hop on, finally, I got an offer, let's hop on this. Be really diligent about who you're getting in bed with, because there is toxic companies, there is, let's say, immature companies that will not be able to treat you well, or will not want to treat. So it's another thing. It's not only good, but at the same time, what is the best thing? Maybe like Marcus, I will ask you the question. Like, you are working in the web for quite a bit. What do you enjoy about the industry? Why do you enjoy working in this? Why didn't you leave for like easier, more stable green fields of, I don't know, care?
Okay. No, a great question. I guess maybe personally for me, I used to work in the financial services space. I used to work with companies like American Express. But for me, I just saw the concept of crypto, blockchain, Web3 is this new technology, and it's going to change the way we use the internet, information, money. So for me, it's to have the opportunity to be part of something much more bigger. It's going to, really change a lot of things in our lives. So yeah, I guess maybe I am a risk taker in a sense, but not like a gambling guy, just put everything on black or red or something. And also maybe I do see the ideals of financial freedom, or I guess economic freedom, and be part of something bigger, be part of a big picture. So I guess maybe from this you can see that I'm more idealistic than a lot of the practical Joes out there.
What is the biggest, like you worked at those big corporates and then you start working for these Web3 companies. So what is the biggest difference in the culture or in the expectations from your employer and stuff like that? Like the kind of day-to-day job.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, I guess in my previous job, it's standard, structured, like bang, that's it. The only drawback in the old God is you got to deal with the corporate politics, which is expected. Now, Web3 has its own politics too. There are cartels or cabals in within Web3. But I guess the way I say it is that, you know what, if you cannot be part of this Web3 cabal or this Web3 cartel, if you're not going to have a seat at that table or something, you know what, have your own, build your own table and chair and bring your own set of values and attract other people to join your coalition of the willing. I guess the opportunity to be creative and also make your own mark. So it's not structured, but you could make your own rules to some extent. Of course, as long as you don't harm other people. But if you do harm other people, there are consequences. So whether legally or culturally or any other is or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
I was
hope that
thinking
answers your
about the
question.
same, and I didn't want just to build everything I say based on my own opinions. And this is getting back to the positive side of things. Once again, for people that are considering the Web3 career, or just maybe is like reassuring they want to stay in this, or reassuring themselves that it's a good step forward if they just got a new career in this. There's a crazy amount of kind of personal responsibility. Like you really are not gonna be protected as much by the world itself because everything is super regulated and whatever, like super standard and corporate. Like in here, you
Yeah.
will be almost on your own. Yes, you will be working with maybe amazing teams, but
Yeah.
still the kind of proactivity and the sense of ownership has to be much bigger here. And it is much bigger here. So you can make waves. You are able to change things if you want. Of course, there's huge companies having a few hundred people. That's harder there because they also have to have different kind of resource planning. But with all of the companies up to 100 people,
Yeah.
which is including some of the L1 huge protocols, they also have like about 100 or 150 people. It's not everyone doesn't have that many. You can really make a big difference. And if you really decide and if you are proactive, you will be seen and you will be rewarded for that. Or if you will not be rewarded for a continuous effort that is extra, then it's about time to leave. And so, yeah, this is a huge opportunity for people that are a bit more entrepreneurial, maybe a bit more just that enjoy doing things their way, because you will get the freedom to do, but at the same time, you will have to conquer. You will have to face the consequences when you actually don't work in the best interest of your clients or the company. And this is really fair. This is why I love this, because it is giving, like it's a less protective, maybe it's maybe a bit less stable, because obviously a lot of companies are still trying to find their own product market fit, the market itself affecting your job stability and everything. But it is a great opportunity for everyone who just wants to be seen and heard and to build something or co-build something, even if it's just having a job. And this is a cool thing. This is just a great opportunity.
Yeah. No,
It's a great
please go ahead.
opportunity
Please
for
finish
people
your.
they are like-minded. So I would say we covered this kind
No,
of people that are about to enter this or wants to enter this industry, or maybe that are new in this. Is there anything that we should be covering for the people that are already working in this industry? Maybe they want to change, or maybe they are wondering what to do if they are not happy.
Good point. Totally forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up. I was like, oh, I think we covered everything, but yeah, totally forgot about those. Hey, who might be stuck, man. I can't think about any strategy or anything.
So I have like just one thought on this, and I obviously don't want this to be too long today. We can definitely have another session, maybe the next one on if there's companies that are trying to hire, because it's the other part of the same coin that we are also covering with our company. But maybe for this, it is that a lot of people don't understand how much value they've already created for themselves, and it's mostly in their network. So if you have been working in this industry for a bit, and you probably have a few people you have interacted with, right? It might be your colleagues, your bosses, but also other clients or whoever you were working with on behalf of your company. It's other people that you met on those kind of meetups and everything. By the way, such as your meetup, which I've been a few times to. And to everyone who would be interested, Marcos is hosting amazing meetups with the Society X.
Thank you. You fought
the bi-weekly, what is it called, Evan?
Oh, the Society X. We have a monthly meetup at Society X, but also we are partnered with the Ton Foundation. So we do it
Both of those are great opportunities to meet with people if you're not already doing it. But if you feel stuck, just start speaking with people that you already know, or maybe start meeting new people, and use the opportunity and use your network and really just all this kind of value that you've built over the years or months or however long you are in this industry, and start asking looking around. Like a lot of people are actually scared or whatever to actually ask for help. Or maybe they just don't realize they already built all this value within their own Telegram or whatever, WhatsApp and so on. So you will not get help unless you ask. For whatever reason, a lot of people forget about it. Maybe it's just like a feel of a little shame or something that they are just not doing that. But if you feel stuck, if you feel like you want to look for something new, if you just want someone to talk about your issues at the company to figure out if it's like a real issue or not, just start talking to people. Because if obviously I first specialized on this, I probably have more contacts than you guys, maybe not. But if that's the case, you just go to your network and say it how it is. You say, hey, XY, hey, Marcus, like I have an issue. My career is not going really well, or I'm not really happy about the company I'm staying with. Hey, look, is there any way that you could connect me with someone if you know that someone is hiring? You could put me as a reference, because it's one of those things you didn't really cover before. And it's because you're focusing more on the very people that are very new into the industry. But at that point, if you put together your CV and really, once again, 3 bullet points of whatever is like your special abilities, which can be not only focused on your professional thing, so on your expertise within Web3, but maybe one interesting point about you as a person. You do all that, and you send it over and say, hey, I'm honestly just looking for something new or seeing what's out there. Will you be able to connect me with someone? Do you know someone who might be able to help? And by the way, from now on, everyone will have me as a contact here, whoever is your audience, Marcos, because obviously we can help. We are not charging anything from the candidates. It's all charged from the clients, no worries. And just to start asking, it's just so important. And a lot of people are just waiting until it's really the worst. Either they're like a quiet quitting, or how it's called, or they are just waiting to fire, exactly, or they just really wait for the really worst things to happen before they say, okay, this is too much. So there's no reason for you to feel ashamed to ask your friends or your network and be like, hey, we've been in contact. You've seen that I'm legit, normal, cool guy, that we spoke a few times or whatever. Is there any way how you could help me? Because the references will make a huge difference as well. Let's say if there's 3 stages, if you're lucky and there's only 3 stages of the interview and hiring process, the reference will actually take you through the first stage by default, if the job is a good fit for you. Especially in this industry, trust is so precious and so hard to build and to find. That's why a lot of times the reference like this could just go very long way. And once again, you would be surprised how many people will be willing to help you, or actually just spread the word and everything just to help you. And a lot of times, and it comes, by the way, the same for you if you're starting your own business, and it's a whole different topic. But if you are looking for a new opportunity, just start asking. And I almost feel it's almost a dumb advice, because it's like logical, right? And a lot of people should be already thinking about it. But if you're not, no worries, you're not the only one. A lot of people are also whatever shy and so on. Just start asking, and especially now in this market, there's a high chance you will get interviews within a few weeks.
This is a lot of alpha, I would say. Just a lot of really great tips, but also some foundational stuff. I think whether you're a new person, whether you're trying to rise up higher, or you're in a situation where you're trying to switch and change careers or something, I think what you shared is like really powerful stuff. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I think there's so much to dive in, but definitely, look, Stefan, we cover the employee side. Hopefully, maybe next week or something, let's cover the corporate side, the corporate hiring side, because I want to, obviously I'm familiar from the employee side of things. So as a marketing mercenary that I am, I know that side. I'm curious to know, hey, well, what's happening on the other side of the table? What are these guys are thinking? How the HR people think? And sometimes I'm sure a lot of people who are in the employee side do see the HR folks as the enemy, like the way, especially if you're familiar with the traditional company side. Sure, we have our misgivings in the Web3 space too. So definitely, I think, hey, we got to have that conversation, dispel some myths, but also look at the good, bad, and ugly too. So I think for me, the reason why I want to have these really insightful conversations is that I want to raise up the level in our industry in Web3. And the only way we can do that is put some tough love, some real conversations, but of course, at the same time too, show some love to people as well. I think that's my take. That's how we could do it. Stefan, any last words of wisdom before we go?
The next part of this for the hiring, from the hiring perspective as well. I would just, if you take those kind of 3 bullet points that I mentioned a few times here today, from this talk would be, and you are an applicant, you are a job seeker within this space, would be proactive, make your due diligence, and take ownership of the things that you're doing, and as it comes to when you have the job. This is all pretty simple, but maybe it's important to repeat these things a few times to the people, so they remember remember that. And yeah, if there's anything anyone would need help with, we are always here as well. Or just ask Marcos for my contact. Some of our consultants can help. We are doing this kind of amazing. So
I'll
what we
share
are doing
the
is
details
we
in
are
the
doing
description
free
below.
career boost sessions, which basically means we will hop on a call with you for 30 minutes, some of either me or some of our consultants, and we will discuss what's your situation and what you need help with, either the
Sweet.
CV, interview process, negotiations, or whatever else. So it's free. Whoever needs help, we are always happy to help, always happy to be useful. And yeah, the better the people that are working in this industry, the higher chance is for the kind of mass adoption of everything.
Man, that's amazing. I love it. First of all, Stefan, thank you so much for coming on the show. And first of all, hey, thank you for your service. I think that's such I think in some ways it's like a thankless job in some sense. I feel, but man, because it's a lot of work to, again, you're talking about the mindset of the people. Definitely there are some techniques involved. But of course, I think there's a lot to catch up in the Web3 space. So Stefan, hey, thank you so much for your time. Definitely, guys, we're going to bring him back again. And let's talk about the other side of the table. So anyways, fam, me and Stefan, we got to go. So y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We'll talk
Cheers,
to you
guys.
soon. Bye for now.